What's up, guys? Corey has no life here again for episode number 3 of the Formula 1 2019 Noob career mode. We are continuing the career mode now at Bahrain for round number 2 of the Formula 1 calendar. As we can see here, we're still 12th in points. Our teammate George Russell still 17th, no points on the board. But hopefully we might be able to change that this round, although it's not very likely because we are in fact in the Williams. As we head in to get ready to get started with practice one, we'll go and check the messages real quick, just the overview of the weekend. We got all of our developments done, so we got the new engine power, the front downforce, and the durability upgrade, as we can see here in the R&D tree. So that is going to put us in excellent standpoint for the beginning of this Grand Prix. And we're actually number 1 overall in the engine department, which was crazy. I didn't actually realize that till just now watching this back post-edit. Still one of the lowest teams for chassis and aero. As you can see, we got no chassis updates there, but if we can get enough points today, then we'll be looking at doing one, maybe both of those chassis upgrades, and maybe a little bit more work in the aerodynamics area as well. It'll also pay a little bit of dividends to maybe get some of the extra durability updates as we come in to start practice 1 now.
Probably mentioned the new parts that have come in from the factory. Well, they're all fitted and good to go. I hope they do the trick.
Now, I'm not going to bore you guys with all the specifics of the practice, so here we go. Here's the results of practice 1. We didn't have a good showing. Devin Butler up there in 8th. Russell's in 14th, myself in 16th, and Lucas Weaver, our other F2 rival there, down in 17th. Daniel Ricciardo was on the hard tyres and he practiced in last position there. And we skip forward to practice 2. This is while I was doing the qualifying program, and as you can see there, I did a 134.645. I didn't think anything of it at the time because, you know, it was one of the first cars out. It put me provisionally on top, and this is after I'd finished doing the race program. I came in and I was 3rd overall. And as you see here, I'm fast forwarding through the session and I've not moved position. I'm still P3 overall. I couldn't understand it, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, it looks like we're going to be P3 for the end of practice 2. And I was absolutely dumbfounded about it. I didn't think we had that kind of speed.
Now over the line, let's see our top 3 again. Vettel, Hamilton, and Williams.
So there we are, officially P3 in practice 2. As eventually I'll start going through the driver listing there. We can see Lucas Weaver is there in 8th. We scroll down past the bottom of the list here. You see Devin Butler down in 18th. George Russell 19th, and Kimi Raikkonen, for some bizarre reason, all the way down in 20th in that one, 4 seconds off the pace. Now here, I was doing just another qualifying simulation just for the hell of it, like not even using the qualifying simulation program. And we set another 134.7.
That last lap moves you up to P2.
And that moved me up to P2 in this particular practice session. Which again, dumbfounded me that we had this incredible pace. As you can see again, I'm here fast forwarding through and I'm still sitting in 3rd. You know, in front of Bottas and Hamilton and Verstappen. As you see, Bottas there just got the better of me with a 134.6. But even then, just to be in the top 5 was incredible. I couldn't believe it.
session has drawn to a close.
I
So let's review our top
was
three.
starting to begin to wonder like whether I have improved in this game so much that maybe I need to bump up the difficulty. So there we are, P5. We scroll down, Devon Butler in P13. We scroll down just a little bit further. There's Lucas Weaver there in 16th. And if we go all the way down to the bottom, I'm pretty sure we'll find our teammate George Russell down there in 20th. So that was the end of the practice. Now we come into qualifying. We'll just let the commentators say their bit.
Qualifying is nearly upon us, and the drivers look as if they're all geared up to go. I expect we'll be getting underway very shortly. So then, Ant, it's another Grand Prix weekend, another exciting qualifying session ahead of us. What are you going to be looking out for over the next few minutes?
The first question is going to be who can avoid making mistakes. There isn't much margin for error in qualifying, and you have to bear in mind that the track conditions may have changed since practice, particularly as we've had a few support races in the meantime. If the brake bias settings, for example, don't take this into account, it's extremely easy to lock up a front wheel and cause a flat spot. Just like that, your lap's ruined, and you've wasted a set of tyres to boot.
Alrighty, now we head into qualifying.
Okay, we know it's going to be a struggle to get out of this session, but give it your best shot.
Now we heard there that the engineer thinks it's going to be a struggle for us to get through. Now here we are at the end of our first lap, and it was good enough for P5 straight away with a 1:34.547. Now that wasn't too bad. I thought that was alright. And then we decided to continue on for a second lap, because I started the lap off, and as you can see already, I'm already 1/10, 2/10 up on my previous lap. So we'll just stick here with this lap, and we'll see how it unfolds.
There's only one lap of fuel remaining.
As you can see by the timing monitor there, as we come towards the final corner of the lap, we're over a second in front of our previous time. And I couldn't believe how quick we were here in qualifying. We crossed the line and it's a 1:33.316. And that was absolutely incredible. We skip here to, after we got back into the pits, we decided to drive back around to try and save the engine a little bit. Ran it in lean fuel mixture and just putted around the track until I came back.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1:33.3.
Then we go to the standings here. We have a look. We're in 4th at the moment. We start to fast forward time. And as people go out on the track and come back in, we find that we're not wavering in position. And we haven't moved. And then right at the death of qualifying now, we got pipped by Nico Hulkenberg. But still, 5th in Q3. Holy jeebus. If we scroll down here a little bit, we can see Devon Butler qualified in 14th in Q3, so he's going to be through. Lucas Weaver is in 15th. He just made it through into qualifying 2 there. Kimi Räikkönen out in the first round of qualifying, and so is my teammate George Russell. And Carlos Sainz is also out in the first round qualifying. So 2 big names there out in the first round, and my teammate also out, which is strange because we got the same car. You would have thought he would have done a little bit better. As we move on now to the lap that counted in qualifying 2. We only did 1 lap in qualifying 2 because, you know, I was just happy to have made it, let alone made it and did so well. I tried to talk myself down, you know, all the top teams are all sandbagging and stuff. My 5th place didn't really count. And then there was this lap, which we're just going to follow on quietly. Now, one of the most nerve-wracking things here about this lap was I was seeing these guys posting these 132s, and I'm sitting here thinking, how is my time stacking up to these guys? Because I just so desperately wanted to know. But obviously on your first lap, you know, you can't find these things out. And we come up, we hit the DRS zone perfectly. We come across the line as a 132.698. And that has put us in 2nd place as we came across the line. Now we babied it back to the pits just like we did in qualifying 1, and we've dropped down to 3rd. So in qualifying 2, we are currently provisionally P3. And it absolutely dumbfounded me in the moment. I actually went over and checked the setup to make sure we were still only running the preset setup. I did go to preset 4, which was the slightly lower downforce setup. But yeah, it was just amazing that... Here we go, here's me checking it now. As you can see, Parc Ferme, preset number 4. But it just dumbfounded me that we had this incredible pace in this car. I mean, we got the worst chassis on the grid, we've got the worst aero on the grid, but we got the best engine. And I think that is really what helped us out here, is that, you know, we got the engine upgrade done in the first week, because we got such a sweet contract with Williams. As you can see, Devin Butler and Lucas Weaver are both out of Q2, and we have made it into Q3 in the Williams. Look out, ladies and gentlemen, we are making Williams great again. And here's the end of Q3. I didn't do a spectacular lap, it was only a 33.7, but it was good enough for P9. So we are down there on the 5th row with Daniel Ricciardo in the Australian lockout. Now we're just going to have a look at how things are shaking out after qualifying. Of course, we get the rivalry lead over our teammate there, and take our first look at the resource point gain from practice and qualifying. Big gains have been made, and as you can see there, we've just cracked 1,000 resource points, and we gain a lot of respect with a lot of teams.
That was a good qualifying performance.
Even Emma is happy with the way that we've been driving. Go and check the message, just a quick little overview of the conditions for the race. And now it's time to go race.
The curtain rises once more then on the desert stage of Sakir as the players take their places for the opening act. Will they enthrall us like they did in 2014 with that titanic battle between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton? Well, we'll find out shortly as we get underway here in Bahrain. Time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Bottas, Max Verstappen, and Gasly, Magnussen, Grosjean, Williams, and Lucas Faber, Norris, Butler, Nico Hulkenberg, and Stroll. Perez, Raikkonen,
As at this point I started to wonder what happened to Ricardo, because me and him were meant to be on that fifth row there together, and turns out he had penalties. I would have thought if you're going to change out your engine or engine components, anything like that, you'd want to drop out of Q2. You wouldn't want to go all the way to Q3 and have set tyres to run on. So we go and have a quick little look at the setup. It's going to be a one-stop for us, soft to medium, with the pit stop occurring right around that lap 4 to 5 area. Here we are at the end of the formation lap. We did everything that we could to keep the tyres warm and to warm up the brakes. Thankfully it didn't take long for the rest of the field to come in. We go 5 red lights. And we're underway for the Bahrain Grand Prix, round number 2 of our Formula 1 career. We're getting a decent start there. Just hang with the pack, and we hang back a little bit here. And we actually get punted from behind. As we saw a little bit of front wing go flying past us. And we are up into P8, which is a 1 position gain there. And we're sitting here behind the Red Bulls as they are battling it out for P6. We were almost going to make it 3 wide there. Then I thought that I'd just sit here and let these guys battle it out. They're faster than me. I'm in a Williams. I have no business being up here in the first place, let alone battling the 2 Red Bulls. Big lockup coming into this corner. That's something that was trending for pretty much the whole race. Me locking up that left front going into that tight turn 10. I don't know what it was, whether I just wasn't slowing up enough beforehand or whatever, but the unweighted tyre just kept locking up on me every single lap. As you see now, we've still got Gasly in front of us. Verstappen has dispatched of him and is looking like he wants to try and make some moves up in front of us a little bit. As we come up to the final corner to end lap number 1, and we end it with a 1 lap gain.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
Of course we're approaching the pit window. It's only the start of the race. We're pitting on lap 4. We go for a big dive there on Gasly, and he quite violently actually shut the door on us there. We're lucky that we didn't lose any wing. As we move on to a little bit further into the race, we see the Racing Point car there having an issue, and the Toro Rosso hit him and lost a little bit of his end plate. So that's not good for either of those guys. I'm pretty sure that was Lance Stroll.
Understood. Copy that.
The engineer wanted me to come in a lap early, but I was having none of it. And there you go, Lance Stroll officially out of the race in his Racing Point car. Now Grosjean was attacking me fairly heavily here for a while. He never really got past me or got the red arrow on me. We skip forward to the end of the lap here, which is where we come in for our pit stop. As you see, we had quite the train forming behind us. Just on these soft tyres, we just kept running out of grip so quickly. And it looks like we are actually the first person to come in for a stop.
Release.
So we're expected to make 10 laps on the medium tyres. And you see, we come out of the pits in last, and I thought, I was thinking at this stage in the race that I must have done something wrong on the in-lap, because we're all the way down in last. It was something that was just really baffling me at the time. And we skip through to the start of lap 6 here. We actually see Daniel Ricciardo coming out of the pits just in front of us. Now don't forget, he had a penalty. He started from last. And he went and made his pit stop and came out in front of us there. Which is something else that really bothered me. As you see, he shut the door on me, just like what happened with Gasly earlier. I thought, you know, because me and him are Aussies, you know, we could have a shoey and, you know, shoot the shit. But nah, he wanted to just shut the door on me, not give me just that little bit of space here early on in the race. So my fellow Australian compatriot there, my fellow Perth boy, definitely made me work for it. We see we go into DRS zone, rich fuel mixture. We go for another look inside and he closes the door on us again. We get a track extension warning. And we just sit right in behind him here.
George is in the pits. George in the pits.
Now I go for the overtake here, going into the final corner, which would give Daniel Ricciardo the slipstream and the DRS for this straightaway. But we got such a good exit that we actually left him behind quite a bit there. We move on to later in the 7th lap here. We're actually right on the back of Albon, who had just made his stop. And we get past him fairly easily just before turn 11. Big lockup again though. We go wide on the track. And he almost came back up on our inside, but we just closed the door on him there.
The car ahead is coming
And now
to
we're
fit
back
mediums.
onto the hunt
Car
to try and
ahead,
get back
car
to
medium tyre.
Gasly.
Our gap to the car in front is 2.
We skip to later in lap 8 now. Gasly is actually racing with Charles Leclerc and we got yellow flags up ahead. And it looks like there's a red dot on the mini-map. It's Leclerc. Leclerc has issues and he's brought out the virtual safety car. We'll go and have a look at it. It looks like it might be something electrical or hydraulic. No smoke coming out of the car. But that is a DNF for the Ferrari. As he pulled it over there at the Marshall stand. We skip forward to the start of lap 11 here. And we've made it back into the top 10 now. We just passed Lucas Weaver while he was in the pits. And we're actually catching up to Bottas here. Bottas does have the fastest lap of the race, but his tyres have gone off. As you can see, he's just a speck up the road at the moment. But we are coming at him pretty quickly here. It takes us the rest of this lap to catch up to him. As you can see, we're still locking up that left front wheel going into that turn 10. But we are creeping ever closer to Bottas at this point. I'm not sure whether he might have had some damage or maybe his engine components are a little bit more worn than mine. But we definitely were a lot faster than him. As you see, Lewis Hamilton now does the fastest lap of the race. And we could have done the same move on Bottas as what we did to Ricciardo, but we thought better of it. We thought this time we're going to make it a lot easier for ourselves. We stick in behind him, rich fuel mixture, slipstream and DRS. And we get the position made on him just before the start finish line, and that's us up into P6. And Mercedes are the engine supplier for Williams, and we just made Bottas look like he was standing still. And Bottas never really bothered us for the rest of the race here. We kind of just pulled away from him. He just seemed to have no pace whatsoever as we go purple to the first sector.
This is your final lap of the race.
We did actually do our personal best for that lap. And now we move on to the final lap. As you can see, we got 2.5 seconds over Bottas. And we got quite a bit more time to Gasly up the road. So we're not going to catch Gasly. But we definitely made Bottas look like he was just a B-Tech driver right there. I was playing around with the fuel mix a lot throughout this race, and I think I got it pretty down packed for this track. Just saved a little bit of fuel there, and we weren't trying to go for a fastest lap of the race or anything like that, because just didn't want to unnecessarily wear out the engine as we do a big slide through turn 10. And Bottas is now holding up the line of traffic behind us. Before we went in for the pit stops, that was my position, and now that position gladly belongs to Bottas. As Lewis Hamilton finishes the race with the win, and he also gets himself the fastest lap of the race again. And the ever optimistic race engineer says, "You've only got 6 seconds to the car in front, you can still get him." With less than a quarter of a lap to go, we're on the last straightaway into the DRS zone, which we cannot activate. And across the line, that is P6. In the Williams, P6. I'll say it again. In the Williams, P6. Season 1, round number 2.
What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot. A well-earned victory for Mercedes.
We see the podium celebrations. Lewis Hamilton with the win. Vettel in second, looking somewhat pleased, and Max Verstappen all the way up to P3 in that one.
Let's see how the driver standings have changed. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the
As
top
we go
of the
through
table.
now and check out the results. So we got P6. George
George
Russell, our teammate, started 17th, worked his way up to P11 there. It was a pleasant surprise to see. I'm glad that he definitely almost got himself into the points. Lucas Weber down to 15th after starting 10th. Down with his teammate in 18th.
But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
We have a look at the driver standings now, and I've moved up to P8 with those 6th place points, 8 points that we got there, and also moves Williams up to P6 in Constructors. We got a long way to go to catch Mercedes and Red Bull, but you know, we're on the right track. We've got points on the board.
You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
I was just talking a little bit of shit here. I just went for the it's so easy when the car handles like this. Even though we've got the worst chassis. And for this one, I thought it was just pretty obvious. You know, go for the sportsmanship answer. There's no secret about having a great team and a great car. And that was all Claire needed to be happy. Gives us the big cheesy grin. Now we move on to the post-race stuff, where we get the points run down for the rival battle, which we're absolutely dominating right now. And then also the R&D points rundown. And we've also got 400 bonus resource points in this for completing the team objective, which was just one clean race. And we got just under 2,000 points there. And see, we gained respect with every single team on the grid, some more so than others.
Finishes like that will look good on your contract reviews. On to the next one.
And so we just get the debrief from Carl there, no extra little clippets for us to bother with. So now we move on to the R&D tree to go and do some upgrades. And I've decided what I wanted to do. We're not going to do a powertrain upgrade, we go straight for the side pod turning vanes. And then we also go for both chassis upgrades that we can get here, because we do have the worst aero and chassis on the grid. So I just wanted to improve that a little bit, just in the hopes that, you know, we can try and close that gap a little bit, maybe see if we can extract some more speed from the car. But next week we're definitely going to have to look at getting some of those durability upgrades. But that's going to wrap up this episode, guys. Make sure you give me a like and a comment on this video, and subscribe to my channel if you like what you're seeing. And we're going to leave you with the highlights package provided by Formula 1 2019. And I'll see you guys next time.